Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It is 12 o'clock on a Sunday, which means it's time for a Q&A. First of all, I hope you've had a great Christmas. I hope you've had a fantastic Christmas. And for everybody that messaged in saying that they enjoyed the Penguin Christmas holiday special with myself, Carissa and Eric, thank you so much. I really wanted to put something together that was a homage to Scott Alexander. He was a personal hero of mine, and honestly, doing this special was a career highlight. So if you guys enjoyed it, I really appreciate that. Thank you very much. I'm actually filming this from Lincoln. I've gone away for a couple of days to my sister's family in Lincoln, and so I'm filming this in their kitchen. So I'm very sorry it's not the normal studio. Everything will get back to normal as of next Sunday. But I've taken a bit of a break away from everyone else that's upstairs so that I can film this for you, because I didn't want you guys to not have a video. Now, if you don't know what a Q&A is, the idea is that I take all the questions that you've asked over the course of the week and I try to answer them to the best of my ability. Now, I typically film these on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. Currently, I'm filming this on Boxing Day, which is a Thursday. But if you want to guarantee to get your questions answered, please make sure that you get them in, ideally on a Monday or a Tuesday. If I miss your question, just pop it down below and I'll get back to it the following week. And you're getting my raw and filtered opinions. I've not actually read any of these questions beforehand. So if you see something, if there's a question that I see that I think would need a longer answer, I'll let you know and I'll do a separate video about it in the future. Now, with that all being said, there are a load of questions this week. So without further ado, we're going to get into this festive Q&A. Okay, so the first question is from AJ Castellido, who says, I have a question. So why can't creators perform or really discuss their next projects? I figured it would build the hype and boost sales when the trick eventually does come out. I mean, even having a demo and a countdown. So what's up with that? It's a great question, and I would be all for it. Unfortunately, a lot of production companies, they like to keep things secret until the big reveal, whatever the big reveal might be. Alakazam are a perfect example. They have live launches where they'll live launch a product and people don't really know what the product is before the live launch happens. Heck, I've been involved in live launches in the past where they haven't even said it's me. And they just said, hey, we've got a live launch with the creator, and I know it's me. And I would love to actually promote from the earth and back again that I'm there and I'm releasing a new trick, but they don't want me to, and I have to respect the wishes of that. Penguin, it's a bit more difficult with Penguin. So with Alakazam, their business model revolves around the live launch thing, and they make a big deal of the live launch. So they don't really want anybody talking about the trick, really. They'll tease it, but they don't want people seeing it before the live launch, because that's kind of why they want people tuning in. Penguin are a little bit different. Penguin have got so many projects coming out at once. They genuinely have no idea when the next one hits. It's all down to what Jar and Mandy and Sean have on their plate, and they might change things around at the last minute. So it's very, very difficult to hype something up if you have no idea when it's come out or when it's coming out. And a lot of the time, I won't find out that Penguin tricks come out until the day before, or sometimes on the actual day. Sometimes I've found out that a Penguin trick of mine is coming out when I've had the email, like everyone else, from Penguin. So it can be a little bit difficult to drive hype for that, right, if that makes sense. But when I do know, I do try to tease it. Like, I knew that the Penguin Holiday Special was going to drop on Christmas Day, so you probably noticed I was posting about it before Christmas Day, because it was something I was very proud of. Murphys do like to do the hype thing, but only for a couple of weeks beforehand. I think the biggest problem is they don't want... So let's say I'm bringing out a brand new trick, and it's a wallet, but it's unlike any wallet that's been seen before, and it's got some features in that nobody else has seen. If they release specs 6 months before saying, hey, I've got this wallet and this is what it's going to do and I'm very excited about it and these are the features, there's nothing stopping somebody else from rushing a trick to market that has those same features. So a lot of the time when production companies have spent so much time and effort and so much money producing an item, they want to keep it under wrap because they don't want sales to be affected by something similar coming out, if that kind of makes sense. So there's a lot of things that go into a production company releasing a magic trick, and they've only got one bite at the cherry, if that kind of makes sense. It's when it first comes out, that's when people are like, oh my gosh, this looks great, I'm going to go and buy it. So there's a lot of factors that get taken into consideration. I don't think it's ever going to change, to be perfectly honest. I think that, I would love it to change. I tease stuff that I've got coming up, but I'm under no delusions that a lot of the time I'm not allowed to say anything. And the magic industry is built on secrets. And unfortunately, no matter who you are, if you're working with a production company, you can't kind of deviate against that. So hopefully that answers the question and makes sense. Spooky Kid says, I think you need to clean your camera lens. I think you're right. I looked at last week's Q&A and that's absolutely the case. I'm very sorry. Christmas was a very busy time of the year for us and we literally had no time at all to film anything. Like I was running in from loading a van, coming upstairs, sitting down, filming a video, running off. Like the fact that we managed to get all the videos up this year is an absolute miracle. So it was very touch and go many, many times. So if the quality has dropped in that regard, I'm very, very sorry. Okay, so the next question is from Stephen Murphy, who says, love the channel. Thank you, Stephen. My question, stroke frustration, is why are most gimmicked coins only available in American currency? As hobbyist, it will look very suspicious if I was to do tricks with American coins down the pub. Surely a gap in the market for £2 triads and flippers. Well, you can get £2, you can get English currency gimmicked coins. Alakazam have a lot of gimmicked coins in English currency. I'm pretty sure Prop Dog had a load of them. I don't know if they still do, but you can definitely get gimmick coins. I've got flippers and shells in £2 coins. I've got split coins in £2 coins. World Magic Shop did a lot of these back in the day. But if you want to get a custom coin made in English currency, then go to one of the coin gaffers. Go to Ronald Davis. Ronald Davis is the guy. He will do it for you very, very reasonably. So if you go to Ronald Davis, you can find him on Facebook. He's the go-to guy when it comes to coin gaffs. Go to Ronald Davis, say, hey, I want this coin and this coin in £2 coins, and he'll make you the best version you've ever seen. Outside of that, just scour the websites, because there are a lot of coins that you can get in English currency. For me, I prefer using American coins. I don't really perform socially down the pub, so for me, having American coins isn't an issue. But if I was a hobbyist, if I was actually going out there and just performing socially, I'd probably invest in a bunch of English coins over the American coins. So I get where you come from. Okay, so the next question is from Mago Antonio, who says, hi Craig, hi there, great video as usual, thank you very much. I've been working a lot and therefore not paying attention to new videos, but there's a good reason for that. I'm performing a lot because I was on the finals of Spain's Got Talent and Chile's Got Talent. Dude, that's incredible. Congratulations. That's amazing. Many shows are coming my way because of this. And I'm telling you because you are partly responsible. Without your thoughts, ideas, and advice, I think I would never have had the courage to do this. Thank you for your help, and as I know that I'm not the only performer that has been changed because of you. How do you feel knowing the impact that you have made in other magicians and their lives? Thanks once again, and keep up the good work. That's incredible. That's absolutely incredible. This is why I set up this channel. And this is why I continue to do it when there's absolutely no reason why I should continue to do it. It's a constant source of stress, I'll be honest with you. Like, I've had a lot of problems. I've had a lot of issues with, I'm not going to get into this now, but I reviewed, I did the top 10 worst tricks of 2024, and one of them on there was Gimmicked by Maxim Drusha. And I said at the time on that video, I don't think I should put this on here because the guy makes videos about me all the time and this is going to trigger him. And it has, and he's put several videos up. I mean, he puts videos up about me every single week. Most weeks, there's a video going up about how I'm the worst person in the world. I'm terrible. I'm this and that and the other. And now he's got videos, but he's left negative reviews, calling me horrible names on my company Facebook page. Some of the stuff he says is very mean. But you know what? It's fine. He does it all the time. But when you get stuff like that all of the time, it makes you question why you actually do this. It makes you wonder, like, what's the point? The amount of stress and anxiety I get out of dealing with people like this. Every couple of months, there's something that I have to deal with, something quite big. And a lot of the time, I never even mention it on the channel, ever, because there's no point. Because whenever I make a video, people go, oh, Craig's moaning again. So I tend not to mention half of it. But every time it happens, it's like, why am I doing it? Remind me why I'm doing this again. And what you've just done is you've just encapsulated why I do what I do, why I put up with all of the stress, why I put up with, like I'm here at my away, my family, my kids are having fun playing up there, and I'm down here shooting a video. And it's a difficult thing to do. This channel is a difficult thing to do. And the reason I do it is because I genuinely believe that these videos make a difference. If I didn't think they'd make a difference, I wouldn't do this channel. And it's people like you. I mean, that's amazing, man. You bring, Chile's got talent, Spain's got talent. I'm so excited for you. That is brilliant. Congratulations. And it's not me, it's all you. I didn't walk out on that stage. I didn't do that. You did that. This is all you. But the fact that you've turned around and said a little part of it is me, I really appreciate that, man. I really do. And it's why I do this channel. How does it make me feel? It makes me feel blown away. This is what I wanted this channel to do. So from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much. Okay, so Andy Putt says, my top 10 Craig Petty 2024 tricks are: number 1, Bag Reborn, number 2, Focus, number 3, Svengali, number 4, Cheetah Chips, number 5, Magic Button, number 6, Purse Frame, number 7, Infinity Deck, number 8, Evoke, number 9, Destiny Deal, and number 10, Toys. If you look at other aspects of how a release affected me, then Evoke or Infinity Deck will become first. Big fan of your releases. Hey. Thank you very much. My Christmas show has some Craig Petty releases like Apparition, Nightshade, Christmas cards. That's brilliant, man. Thank you so much. Right, you got a question? Here you go. What does Christmas till New Year look like in the Petty household? Well, Christmas Day, we were just sitting around chilling. I was playing with the kids most of the day. Very little magic. We watched Doctor Who. The Doctor Who Christmas special, which was great when the kids went to bed. I watched the Gavin and Stacey Christmas special with my wife. That was fun. It was very much a chill out day. I haven't had one of those in a long time, so that was fun. Then Boxing Day, we've come up here to Lincoln. We're here through till around about the 29th, I think. We get back on the evening of the 29th. 30th, I've got one-to-one calls in the for the Netrix, so my online streaming platform, the Netrix. All of the gold members have 2 one-hour sessions with me a month, and the second one of those sessions for everybody is on the 30th. So I'm literally doing one-to-one calls from, I think, 9 o'clock in the morning till about 1 o'clock in the following morning. And then on the New Year's Eve, I'm doing a big gig with a bunch of really great magicians. Ryland's there. I'm doing an illusion show. You know, we've got a really big show that we're doing. So yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. A little bit chilled out, and I'm shooting some videos, obviously. But yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, we got one more question from Andy Putt. How will Blackpool 2025 be for Craig? Well, that's a great question, isn't it? I'm going to be very busy. Ryland is in Killian's My World of Magic show. He toured with Killian over the summer, and Blackpool are running the show on the Saturday evening, I believe, of two performances. And he's going to be in there. And they've added Harry Merlin Piper as well. Harry's fantastic magician. And so I'll be involved in that in some capacity. I'll probably be backstage or something, but I'll be involved there in some capacity on the Saturday. I've got Netrix coming out with Alakazam, Penguin, Murphy's, and TCC. So I'll be jumping on their stands. I'll have the Magic TV stand as well. So I'll kind of be playing stand hockey. I'll be basically running from one stand to another. I'm also going to be on Matthew Wright's stand because I think something's coming out that we've been working on, and it's coming out at Blackpool. I'll probably be jumping on the Mark Bennett stand as well because me and Mark have been working on something together. But I think primarily my focus will be the Penguin stand and the Magic TV stand. Matt will be on the Magic TV stand when I'm not there. So there's a lot, a heck of a lot going on on that weekend, and then I'll be in the bar in the evening. On the Monday evening, Matt and Ryland are doing the official after show at the House of Secrets for the Blackpool Magic Convention. So that's going to be there. That's going to be a really good show. So there's a lot going on is what I'm saying. I'm going to be all over the place as normal, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so the next question is from Dave Caillard, who says, "Hi Craig, wishing you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year." Same to you, Dave. My question is, when doing a close-up job or close-up gig, do you do mentalism and magic to the same audience? Because most mentalists say that you should not dilute your mentalism. I feel like doing magic and mentalism in the same gig. Do you do mentalism and magic as an individual set, or do you do it together? I do it together. I've never had a problem with it. But then again, I don't promote myself as a mentalist. So when I do mentalism, it's more like mental magic. So I'm not trying to say that I have ungodly powers and I can read people's minds. I'm not trying to say that I can read people or use psychology or anything like that. I'm performing as a magician, and part of that performance is, reading somebody's mind or doing whatever I'm doing, right? But I have to make sure that the style that I'm doing fits my character. So, that's why Cheetah Chips is absolutely perfect for me, because my character is that a little bit like Greg Wilson, this kind of, smooth talking con man who has skills. I'm not trying to pretend the magic's real and, that sort of thing. That's why Cheetah Chips works so well for me, because Poker Chips is the perfect thing for me to carry around when I'm doing some sort of mentalism, because I can justify it almost as like a grift sense type of thing. Like, hey, when you're playing cards, one of the things that you need to be able to do is you need to be able to read how much somebody's going to bet before they even bet it. Let me show you what I mean. So, I have no problem with it. And I know other people like Nemid Phoenix is a fantastic mentalist. And I think his presentation of the name peek, where you get somebody to write a name down and you peek it, his presentation of that is one of the best that I've ever seen. But he'll do that and then follow it up with coins across. But again, Nemid's like me. He doesn't pretend to be a mentalist per se. He's just there to entertain people. It's a little bit like Paul Daniels. I remember the Paul Daniels show back in the day. And he'd be doing illusions, then he'd be doing close-up magic, then he'd be doing some mind reading, and it's kind of just all falls under the same umbrella. If you were putting yourself across as a Darren Brown type person, and then you went from there to doing like a coins across, that might be a bit weird, maybe. But for me, I don't have a problem with it at all. Okay, so David W says, thanks for your advice on Chop. I'll definitely try that. You're more than welcome, David. So your question, after finishing my Christmas season, I did 7 gigs, which is more than I've ever done in succession. I also hold a full-time job. I got lots of flight time and really honed my act and my sets to the point where I could just enjoy the performing without the stress. Brilliant. Flight time. There's no substitute for flight time. I felt a bit bittersweet at the end of my last gig. Sweet because I could go home. I could get to go home and rest, but also a bit down as I've been out so much, and it felt brilliant. My worry is I'll now go through a quiet period and get rusty again. Do you have any tips for keeping routines alive, or perhaps some lead gen tips so I can keep performing? Lead gen, this is not the video to do lead gen. It really isn't. It's totally not. And I will do a video like that coming up in the future. But if you want to generate more leads and you're a hobbyist, leverage your personal network. Now, I'm a big fan of business networking. I've talked about this on the channel all the time. But when you think about networking, it doesn't have to be business networking. It doesn't have to be going to formal business networking groups. It could be leveraging your social circles. What I mean by that is, I picked up a gig over Christmas, a really good gig. And the reason I got the gig is because I had Sarah's friend was asked by one of their friends to recommend some entertainment for a corporate event. And they recommended a magician and said, hey, I know somebody. And it came back to me and we ended up booking the gig in. So make sure that your social circle know that you're available to book as a magician, and you don't just do this as a hobby. Because they will, if you imagine if you know one person and they speak to 50 different people over the course of a month, or over the course of a week, think about if you make sure that every single one of your friends and family know that you're available to book, how much extra work could come your way. And that's not going to have to require having a website or business cards or anything like that. Just leverage your personal network. And the other thing is, go and perform for free. You know, you worry about getting rusty again. You've got a full-time job. Go into a restaurant and say, hey, my name's Dave. I'm a part-time magician, and I'm looking to work some new material in. And I have been recommended your restaurant. I'd love to come into your restaurant and work on a weekly basis. You know, because I'm working this material in, I'm not a full-time magician. You know, I'm not going to charge you. All I ask for is gift vouchers every week that I can use to spend on, you know, a meal or two or whatever. And a lot of the time, you'll have people say, yeah, okay. And you can use those to take your partner out for a meal or give them away as gifts or whatever. But, you know, there's a lot of... what's the word I'm looking for? There's a lot of snobbery when it comes to people getting gigs, and everybody will tell you, don't go and get a gig for free. But it's down to the individual, and it's down to their scenario and their personal circumstances. The bottom line is, if you are, you know, you've got a full-time job, and you don't need the money that much, but you're worried about going rusty, go out there and get yourself a gig where you get paid very little. It'll give you a chance to go out and work it in the real world. And if you go and work in a restaurant or something like that, it'll give you a chance to promote yourself to so many people, and that's where the gigs start rolling in. If you can get paid for the restaurant, that's absolutely great, and that's even better. But I'd go out and speak to a few restaurants and get yourself a gig and make sure you keep that flight time coming up. But also, don't put yourself down. You've done 7 gigs over December, right? And you say it's the most that you've ever done, and you hold a full-time job. That's incredible. Don't forget to celebrate the successes. That's a brilliant situation. You aren't a full-time magician, and yet you've done 7 gigs over December. That's great. That's almost two a week. Congratulations, man. That's awesome. Don't forget to remind yourself how good you're doing. Okay, so the next question is, again, from David, who says, in this downtime, I'd really like to incorporate a coin routine into my act. I currently do the 11p trick, but I'd love something simple that's impressive but can get my confidence up with coins. Any thoughts? Gadaback Coins and Bobo's Modern Coin Magic. That's the one that you want to go for. I always recommend this as the first trick that people should learn when they're learning sleight of hand with coins. It's a great trick. It's not that difficult to do. It's going to teach you how to do the fundamentals of coin magic, and also the reaction is great. It's got a nice big finish. Basically, you put 3 coins on the table and you tell the spectator you're going to do the 3-coin trick. You put 2 coins in the hand, 1 in the pocket, and then there's 3 in the hand. It happens again and again and again. And then for the finale, all the coins vanish. It's called Gadaback Coins. You can learn it from Bobo's Modern Coin Magic, and it is one of my favorite tricks to perform. Okay, the next trick is from Illusionist. The next question is from Illusionist Ed Zeus, who says, you invent a lot of tricks, but most of them are for close-up. Are you planning to release some new magic next year for stage performance? And the answer is yes, I am. Off the top of my head, there's 3 that will come out over the course of next year. The first one is coming out around about February, March. And then there's a big one that I've been working on for a long time with Alakazam, which is coming out sort of middle of the year. And then there's another one that will definitely come out before the end of the year with Alakazam as well. So I've got 3 tricks coming out that are kind of more for stage performers. So yes, the answer is yes, I will be doing that. In fact, I'm bringing out one of the tricks I'll mention to you. One of the tricks I'm bringing out is my version of the sweet prediction plot. So where you've got a jar of sweets and you have someone guess how many sweets are in there and you're 100% correct. I've got that version. I've got a version of that coming out, but with no electronics. The prediction is genuinely in the jar from the very beginning. There's no switching or anything like that. It's a really strong method. And I can't wait for that to come out because that's been in my act for a while now. And I love performing that. It's one of my favorite tricks to perform. So yeah, there is stuff coming. So just keep your eye out. Okay, so the next question is from David Damson, who says, do we know when Heroes and Villains is going to be available in the UK? It looks great. Well, thank you very much, David. The last I heard was from Penguin, and the last I heard is that they were going to be wholesaling the Black Friday releases, which is Cheetah Chips, Heroes and Villains, Lopez's Missing Finger, all those. The Vanishing Card Case by Nicholas Lawrence. they're going to be wholesaling all of those on the 30th of December. Because they're new items, Penguin won't wholesale them straight away. They hold them back for about a month. So I think they're going to be wholesaling them at the end of this month, which means any magic dealers in the UK that wholesale Penguin items, and from the top of my head, I know that Magic Box do, I know Monster Magic do, I know Alakazam do, all of those places will be able to get those products from sort of the 1st of January. So I would expect to see those new Penguin releases dropping into your local magic shop around about the first week of January. So yeah, and thanks very much for the kind words of Heroes and Villains. I'm a big fan. It is very, very good. Okay, so the next question is from Standard. Hello, buddy. Hope you're well. Hi, Greg. I know that we've just talked about my first gig on the VMC. However, I made the advice on my set list within my set list public within the Q&A. I find it more than fair to share my experience here as well. First, a reminder, I embedded my stage act inside Destination Mistake. After its warm-up phase, I went into Copper Silver Transpo for Nightshade, stuff with business cards, Sheer Luck, Angel Number, Hook, and the finale of Destination Mistake. I was planning for about 30 minutes, but took 40 minutes. That's my first learning takeaway. We had roughly 100 people in the audience, and the act went pretty well. Did everything run smoothly and without mistakes? No. But was I able to entertain and create a high level of energy? Absolutely yes. Some of the most remarkable positive feedback includes words from my friends and family. Showing single tricks is one thing, but standing up on stage and performing an act like that is remarkable. Or from other magicians, was that really his first time on stage? Thank you for your advice, Craig. It's on you and all your help here, as well as during the VMC on the Netrix, Top Cookies, which made all of this possible and inspired me to go up on stage. Now for another one, TBC. Andreas, I am so proud of you, my friend. I know you've worked really hard towards getting that done, and the fact that it's gone so well is brilliant. I mean, the material that you've got there is great. I know you planned it through again and again and again. Yeah, now just get back on the horse and keep doing it, keep doing it, keep doing it. Flight time, flight time, flight time. And what you'll do is you'll go, okay, what am I going to do about reducing it down to 30 minutes? Do I have to remove a trick? In which case, which trick do I remove? Or am I going to speed through it? Am I going to adjust the presentation? Am I taking any tricks out and putting any other ones in? There's a lot you can actually work on from this point. So it's exciting times. Doing that first gig and then getting ready for that next gig, that's when things get really exciting. But honestly, congratulations. Standing up on stage and doing a 40-minute set is something that a lot of magicians will never do that. You know, some magicians will just do close-up their entire life, and that's absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. But it's a totally different level of nerves and a totally different skill set to be able to go on stage and perform on stage like you have. And the fact that you have, my hat's off to you, buddy. Congratulations. Okay, so the next question is from Robert Francis Magician. He says, hi, Craig. Hope you and the family are well. Thanks for all the help with Focus. It's amazing and I love it. You're more than welcome. I was wondering, do you ever send a care package to clients that book you or people that recommend you, and what do you put in it? Thanks again, Craig. Yeah, I do. For particular clients, I send out, there's this place in the UK called Rachel's Cookies, and they do personalized cupcake sets. So they do like trays of 6 or 12 cupcakes, and they'll put your logo on top of the cake. So I will regularly send cupcakes out to clients. And what's great about using Rachel's Cookies is that what's really cool about it is I don't have to do anything. Like I just literally, I've already uploaded the various different logos that I want to use. So all I have to do is click submit, put in the address where I want it sent to, and they will send it for me. It's no fuss. And it comes to them with a card that I can tell them what to put inside the card, and it's just really good. So I've got about 5 or 6 of these cookie sets going out at the beginning of January. I've got a couple of big agents that use me, a couple of big clients that use us. And I do send these cupcakes out quite regularly throughout the year. And it's only for the best clients, the ones that I really want to take care of. Okay, so the next question is the Magic of Seth, who says, any comments on fiber optics versus the Awakening? I haven't performed the Awakening quite often. A bit to my surprise, it's becoming a crowd favourite. Is it worth it for me to grab a fibre optics as well, or would that be a bit redundant? I've worked with both of them. I'll be honest with you, I kind of do fibre optics more than the Awakening. Not that the Awakening is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I very much love it. I think it's great, and I'd happily go and do a show and put it in there today if I wanted to. But I do think that fibre optics is a little bit more variety. You can do a bit of a longer, more variety-filled routine. The problem with the Awakening is it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Because of how the trick works, it's the same trick over and over again. Now, there's nothing wrong with that if you can fill it with presentation and pattern. But what I love about fibre optics is there's so much happening. So in my fibre optics routine, I have 3 ropes of different sizes, which can be examined, by the way, which you can't have with the Awakening. They then turn into the same size. I then get rid of one of the pieces of ropes. I fuse the 2 pieces of ropes into one. I then cut them into 2. Pull them, put them back together into one. I make the ends change places a couple of times. I pull the ends off. The ends go back on in the spectator's hands. There's so much that's happening. It's a bit more variety. So the routine is longer because you can only do the same thing over and over again without it getting a bit boring. So Awakening is great. I kind of think of the Awakening as an MC bit. You know, if you've got like a quick 1-minute thing that you want to do, a quick 90-minute thing that you want to do, maybe a front of cloth piece in a bigger show, while the fibre optics is something that I can kind of build a whole 5 or 6 minute piece around and make it a feature of my act. So yes, I would absolutely learn fibre optics. So the other thing about fibre optics is if you get fibre optics extended, you'll also learn hypering, which is a fantastic ring and rope routine. And it teaches you the fundamentals of rope magic. So yeah, I absolutely 100% would definitely learn fibre optics. Okay, so the next question is from Capital Idea, who says, the answer to the magician's question about David Penn and territory infringement, the answer is there's no magic mafia and territories that you can't enter or types of magic you can perform. You do you and don't worry about another magician. Can you imagine if this question was in regards to a mentalist in a certain area that wanted to perform mentalism in an area where another mentalist performs? Ridiculous. Nothing against you or your answer, Craig. It's sound advice for someone that might get intimidated easily, but I think a man or a woman should stand up for themselves. I agree, buddy. I agree. You should stand up for yourself. And I've got ahead in business by kicking over tables and pissing people off. I mean, don't forget, I was the one that got kicked out of the magic circle and then did a whole campaign calling myself the bad boy of magic, wrote blogs slagging off the magic circle. But I've done a lot of that sort of stuff in my past. And that's where it firmly resides, in my past. Because the problem is, when I was doing that sort of stuff, I was, I prefer to try. You got to remember, it's a small community. You got to remember that it's a small community, and you never know, you never know when somebody might be able to help you. You never know when somebody might be able to help you. Like, they live in the same area. Divishan and David Penn live in the same area. You never know. One day, David Penn might need Divishan's help. You never know. I mean, I'm all for collaboration, not competition. So yeah, 100% you shouldn't be intimidated by somebody. Absolutely. And if you think that doing the tech magician thing is right for you, then absolutely you should do it. But I think that when there's somebody in your hometown that's branding themselves as a tech magician, I think that maybe you shouldn't use the word tech and maybe go down the route of using something else, like the iPhone magician or something. I don't know. But hey, that's the cool thing about this, right? That's my opinion. Your opinion differs, and that's fine. It doesn't mean I'm right. Doesn't mean you're right. The point is that everybody makes their own decisions. Next question is I'm Too Young to Die, who says, hey, Craig, is Magic Button still available, or can you not get it anymore? Every site I've been to says it's out of stock. I know that it was out of stock at Penguin, but I believe it's in stock now. Hang on, let me just check. Let me check. Magic Button. I know that because they had to reorder it. It's been so popular, they needed to reorder it again. Trick. Pre-order this. There you go. It's not available right now. No, they've had to reprint it. It's coming in on the 20th of January. So it'll be reprinted and it'll be available on the 20th of January. If you're anywhere near the UK, I mean, I ship worldwide, but if you're anywhere near the UK, I do have some at my personal stock that I use for lectures and stuff. And I have my own website with a shop on it. I never, ever, ever promote it. I'm terrible at that. But magictv.org is an actual shop, and we ship worldwide. So if you do want a magic button and you can't wait till the 20th of January, if you go onto magictv.org, we've got some in stock and we can send it out to you. And that's one way to get it. Hope that helps. Okay, so the next question is from Elkie, who says, do you have any recommendations for full shuffles that work well with smaller packets of cards, saying -20? I have a couple that I've been using, but wanted to know if there are any others out there worth learning. Okay, so, yeah, now is not the time. Normally, this is where I pick up a deck of cards and I'd show you some, but I don't have a deck of cards anywhere near me. I'm in my my family's kitchen, but so I can't. I'll do a video on this. I'll do a video on full shuffles, normal full shuffles, and small packet full shuffles. I'm assuming you're already doing the Charlier shuffle. That's a great one to do. The rotational shuffle is a great one to do. A small packet Hindu shuffle is a great one to do. But I'll do a video on this within the next few weeks, because I can't really show you anything here. But yeah, there's a lot of small packet full shuffles that are worth looking at. Bear with me and I'll get that video up. Elkie also has not a question, but a statement regarding Divishan's question last week about linking rings. If people didn't see it, he was talking about having the idea of doing a linking ring routine a little bit like the silk to egg, where you show there's a gap in the ring and then you openly peel the gap off, and now you're left with a regular ring. And Elkie says, taking the gap out of the ring, I could see a way to present it that doesn't have the problem of just showing the method to people. Using it as an opener to a ring routine, you could show a standard link and ask people how they think it's done. When someone says there's a gap in the ring, you show it, demonstrating unlinking and linking with the gap. Then say, see, it's an obvious method. That's why magicians have to find more clever solutions. As you peel off the gap and hand the now linked rings out to be examined, they must be fully examinable, i.e. thrash-proof. If presented well, it could make other magicians' routines more fooling by leading people to discount the use of a key ring even when one has been used. I still wouldn't recommend it, since it can have the adverse effect of putting there's a gap in the ring into someone's head, but there's a direction on it. Yeah, if I was ever going to do it, that's the way that I'd do it. I love your take on that, Elkie. I still probably wouldn't do it like you wouldn't, but it's, you know, it's an interesting thought process. Okay, so Anthony Povey says, I'm not sure what rank I would put Craig Petty 2024 releases in. However, I am looking forward to Craig Petty 2025 releases, specifically the Atomic Deck, Palette, and the TCC Sharpie Trick. Been waiting a long time for these. Palette has been filmed. I'm doing the live performances in January with Nemid. The TCC Trick is, I'm filming the tutorial and performances for. And in January, I could see that being a Blackpool release. And the Atomic Deck, February, I would say. Okay, so Ian Wilson says, hi, Craig. Thanks for answering my question. You're more than welcome. Super excited for the future elite coin projects you have coming out. It will be worth the wait. Likewise for the Okito project in a couple of years. I'll start saving now. Hope you and the family have a lovely Christmas and a prosperous new year. Thank you for your support, Ian. I really appreciate it. It means the world to me, honestly. Okay, so Punkala says, hi Craig, continuing from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 challenge, this time, what's your favourite card tricks that use, oh my gosh, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 cards? Good grief, man. Oh, why are you doing this to me? 6. Okay. So I have a routine that I put up on the Alakazam, on my second Card Magic Academy with Alakazam. So I put it up on the Alakazam Card Magic Academy #2, and it uses 4 queens and 2 pseudo duplicates, like 2 black 7s or whatever. And the idea is it's a 3-phase routine where the jokers, the 7s change places with the queens over and over again. And it happens 3 times. And at the end, there's a kickback. So that would be the 6-card one. The 7-card one would be the 7-card one would probably be John Bannon's version of the Ace Assembly, but the really small Ace Assembly. I can't remember what it calls it, but you literally just use 4 queens and 3 black cards, and he's got this wonderful presentation all based around a singing group. I did a review show on a special on it, and I performed it, and I really enjoyed doing that. So that's 7. 8 cards, I would say, if you saw the Penguin Holiday special, then you saw my routine 4x4x3, which is a 3-phase routine where the kings and the aces or the queens and the aces change places, and it happens 3 times. I love the structure behind that routine, so I would say that one. 9 cards. 9 cards. Okay, so 9 cards. I can't even think of a trick with 9 cards. I can't even think of a trick with 9 cards. 9 cards is going to throw me. 9 cards is definitely going. Oh, hang on. I'm going to cheat here. I'm going to cheat a little here. On cube 52, there's a routine where a spectator mixes up a cube, and then they mix up the deck and they take out 9 cards. And they mix up the 9 cards and they lay them out on the table, and the 9 cards match the side of the cube they mixed up from the beginning. Now, that tends to use a full deck, but it does end up with just 9 cards. And on the project, I talk about a variation of that where you have just 9 cards in a packet trick state. So you bring out 9 cards with different colors on them. You bring out a cube, you have them mix up the cube, you take the 9 cards, you have them mix them up, and you put them down on the table and they match. So I'm going to go for that for 9 cards. And 10 cards, I'm going to go from the Netrix for the easy cards across, which uses 10 cards. They take 10 cards out of the deck, they shuffle the 10 cards, one person has 5, one person has 5, they think of one of their 5 cards, and it jumps over into the other packet. There you go. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Done. Okay, next question is from Luke9119, who says, loving your work, Craig, thank you. You should create a Craig Petty-only guide to your releases, helping guide new members through an education. I mean, your Sven project is a brilliant resource on something most beginners start with. Yeah, that'd be really cool. If I ever find the time to do that, I will. Question, the last bonus effect from the Sven project, would that work the same with a Mirage? Yes, it would. There's a very small crossover between the Svengali deck project and the Mirage deck project, because they are both in essence Svengali decks, but one's rough and smooth and one's not. So there is a very small overlap, and that is one of the 3 routines I think could work with the Mirage deck. Okay, next question is from Matt Sickmeyer, who says, okay, Craig, if all I want to do with the cheater chips is the ESP routine, does that justify $60 for the product? I know you don't have anything to do with the final price, but what other ideas can you do with cheater chips that are similar to ESP? Well, look, here's the thing. There's 2 questions there. What similar routines? The answer to that one is anything that you do with 10 ESP cards, any trick that requires 2 sets of 5 ESP cards, you can do with cheater chips instead. Any trick. There's dozens of them. Any trick from literature, any trick that has ever been produced with ESP cards, you can do with cheater chips. It doesn't have to just be the matchup. There's a million different things that you can do. So if you're a fan of ESP routines, anything will work. I go through a few of them on the project. I love doing the Will the Chips match from, Will the Jacks match, but with chips as a lead into the ESP chip routine. I also love to do Craig's Discovery. That works really, really well. These are all routines on the project. But with regards to the question, does it justify the $60 for a product? You're right, I don't set the prices. However, I understand a lot of the time why the price has been set the way it has. And with the cheater chips, it's not cheap producing 14 Boga chips to the quality that they are. If you ever actually get a chance to look at them and touch them and feel them, you'll realize they are very, very, very good quality. And that's not cheap, and that has to be reflected in the overall price, because Penguin have to make a profit as well. They're a business at the end of the day. My attitude towards something is it's worth the price if you are using it. If you buy something and you're not going to use it, then the price just isn't worth it. Absolutely just not worth it. But if you're going to use it, then absolutely the price 100% is worth it. So if I hadn't released Cheater Chips and I bought it at myself, and if I only used it for the ESP routine, I would definitely be happy with paying the $60. Remember this, I'm somebody who spent like $400 or something on Superfly by Scott Alexander. And absolutely, it's worth every penny. I do that in every single show. So really, it's down to whether you use it or not, and it's also down to the individual. You know, I mean, it's up to you. It's your decision. What's expensive or cheap to one person is not expensive or cheap to another person, if that makes sense. I will say there's a lot of stuff that comes out that's a lot more expensive than Cheater Chips, and I don't think you get half of what you get with Cheater Chips. But you know, as I say, that's just my opinion. I understand why Penguin priced it the way it is. I think it's a very fair price. And honestly, I think that if you got the product, you'd realise that the ESP matchup is just the icing on the cake. Okay, so the next question is from Matt Sickmeyer, who says, "Hi Craig, please tell me how to do a dress rehearsal. Do I practice in the mirror, in front of a camera, or stuffed animals? How long do you rehearse in a single session?" The most important thing is to do a full rehearsal. So you want to set the stage up in the same way that the stage will be set up when you go out on stage. One of the things that I see a lot when people are putting shows together and have not had much experience on stage is they don't know where the props are. It's kind of like pocket management for a close-up magician, but to the nth degree. You need to know where absolutely everything is, because the thing that makes you look unprofessional is if you go, okay, now I'm going to go into this. Where's this prop? I don't know where it is. And if you've got lots of props around the stage and lots of props in the wings, then that can be very, very difficult. So when I do the Slightly Unusual show, the Big Illusion show, we've got illusions in the wings, we've got props everywhere, and it's very difficult to keep track of where everything is without a full dress rehearsal. So I don't think performing in front of teddy bears or anything like that. I just think you need to set the stage up the way that it would be set up. Find a room that you can set up like a stage and just run the whole routine. Pretend that you've got people coming up to the front. Pretend you've got members of the audience that you're interacting with. Just act like you're doing it in front of an audience. And that will help you come up with what's working, what's not working. Oh, this didn't work because of this situation. I think I need to move this prop. Oh, this was too long of a hook line. I think I'd lose the audience at this point. You know, I think that's the most important thing. And you know, a lot of people, they don't do a dress rehearsal because they're like, oh, I can't find an audience in which to perform in front of. Just do it again and again and again and again and again. Iron those problems out before you even go on stage. Okay, so David Russell says, "I started performing street magic last year at the age of 33. It's been so much fun. I appreciate you, Craig. Keep up the great work." Congratulations, David. And I see further down, you're doing shows now as well. Hey, man, magic is a fantastic hobby, but it's a fantastic job as well. Congratulations and welcome to the club. Okay, next question is from Corner Eagle, who says, "Hi, Craig. I have a PIN code reveal that works with a phone app. It's my favorite trick to perform. Only I have the app in Android form and I don't have the means or knowledge to convert it to iOS. I've tried to pitch it to Murphy's, who felt that it would not be a seller for them, and TCC, who liked it but weren't doing phone map app magic for now. Are there other obvious production companies to go to, or am I better off trying to release it on my own, even if it means only on Android?" I would speak to Joshua Riley. So Joshua Riley has produced several apps. Many apps. He's one of the leading experts in app design in the market. And he has produced several of his own apps as well. If I were you, I'd reach out to Joshua and I'd have a chat with him and explain to him what your idea is. He's very trustworthy. Maybe even show it to him. And he's kind of an expert when it comes to coding iPhone stuff. So he might get behind it, and then him and you might be able to do a joint release. That's where I would start with this. I'd start by going to somebody who is a bit of an expert in this area, and then even if he can't help you, he might be able to offer some advice on where to go next. So my first port of call would be to contact Josh. Okay, so Matt Brady says, "Thanks for answering my question, Craig. Pumped to see the Atomic deck in the new year." Man, I'm telling you, since the Penguin Live, the amount of people that have been messaging me about the Atomic deck is insane. I literally had about 50 messages in an hour period. So yeah, it's coming soon, and I'll be able to talk more about it very, very soon, I promise. Okay, MCK Magic says, hi Craig, hope you and your family have a good Christmas. This is going to be an odd question, but can you think of any ways to make the contents of an egg disappear or transform into another object? I'm looking to close my egg bag routine by cracking an egg into a container of some description and changing them into something else, possibly a rubber chicken. Would you have any ideas of how to make the contents disappear? Okay, so a couple of things come to mind. The first is using a mirror glass, and you can get mirror jugs as well, but because with a rubber chicken, you'd need quite a big thing. But a mirror glass would work really, really well. And what a mirror glass is it's a see-through glass, but it's kind of tempered in a particular way, and there's a sheet of mirror in one side. So the traditional way of using it is with a glass of milk. So you pour, you put, like, say for example, a white silk in one side of it, and the glass is on the table, so it looks empty because of the mirror. You then take the milk and you pour the milk in, but you put it into the front compartment so to see the milk coming in, and you pour it in till it's level with the silk behind it. Okay, and then you go and you shake it and you turn it around, and when you reach in and take it out, you're now taking out a white silk, and the thing looks completely empty because the milk is hidden on the other side. You can get mirror jugs, and you can get, but a mirror glass or a mirror jug would probably work really well. I don't know if slush powder would work with an egg. I've never tried it, but you could have like a jug, a opaque jug, and you could have the chicken already in there, and you can have a ton of slush powder at the bottom of the jug. So when you break the egg into it, the slush powder would like solidify the egg, and then you'd tip it out and it would look like the egg has vanished and it's turned into a rubber chicken. I just don't know whether an egg would work with slush powder. I know, like, for example, fresh orange juice doesn't work with slush powder. So I don't know, you'd have to check that, but that's another option if it works. You could have like a sealed mirror box. So you kind of got a mirror box so you can show it's empty. No, you wouldn't open up the front. You'd have the rubber chicken in the front, and then the top one you'd open up, and you'd tap the egg and break it into there, close it up, and then when you open up the front section, it'll look empty because of the mirror, but now you can pull out a rubber chicken. That might work as well. Those are the ways that I can think of that would work really well. I mean, you could use maybe a dove pan. A dove pan would be the other one. So you could have a dove pan, and you could have the rubber chicken in the lid of the dove pan, and you get the pan and you tap and you break the egg into the pan so they can see that the egg is broken inside there. You then put the lid on, and when you pull the lid off, the egg has vanished because it's dropped the secret compartment in, and you're left with the rubber chicken. So there's your next one. Any of those would work. I don't know about the slush powder. You might want to check into that, but the rest of them would work fine. Okay, so the next question is from Divishan Magician. Do you do icons by John Morton? Yes, I do. John's a genius. Icons is one of the best tricks of all time. I have a custom design version, but yes, I do icons. Okay, next question, again from Divishan Magician. Can you make a video on how to build up and make mentalism coincidence reveals more impossible? On phrases to say and things to do. I'm fine with building it up, but I noticed when doing the Venom Cube, Toxic Plus, Earworm, Subliminal, I just used more or less the exact same phrases every time. You had a free choice of song number. There were so many different ways you could mix up a cube. Words you named. I'm looking at more phrases and ways to build it up without doing the same for every trick. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can do a video on that. That's a really interesting video to do, actually. I will get onto that in the new year. Okay, we got one more question from Divishan, who says, for gigs where you first do close-up, walk around, and then stage, is it okay to repeat essentially the same trick, but obviously in stage close-up versions? At a gig for almost 50 people, I did walk around and then stage, but consciously made sure not to do cardiographic and linking rings in the close-up, as I knew I was doing them on stage. Do you also do this, or do you think it's okay to do the same trick? Also, for close-up, I would have done Shuto Ogawa's linking rings, but on stage, it would have been Pop Hayden's. Do you think the spectators would see this as the same trick, or different as the presentation is very different? Let's see it as the same trick, dude. I always keep away, when I'm doing close-up before a stage show, not only do I keep away from any tricks that look remotely the same, but I also make sure that I'm not using any lines that I know I'm going to use on stage. Like I know on stage, I'm probably going to use lines like, hey, have you ever helped a magician? You're not helping one now, and stuff like that. So those lines are out in close-up. Anything that I do on stage will not be done in close-up. If I'm doing a Rubik's Cube routine, I ain't doing any Rubik's Cube magic. Even so far as, right, I do this thing called Destination Mistake on stage, which is essentially a card to impossible location. I'm not going to do any card to impossible location routines in close-up. I'm not going to do card to wallets. I'm not going to do anything like that. Ideally, I'm not going to do any card tricks. Linking rings, whether it's Shuto Ogawa's version or it's Pop Hayden's version, spectators will look at it as the same thing. Oh, it's those rings that link together. I've seen that before. He did that earlier on me. And you also don't want the booker to think that. You want to make sure that you are keeping as far away from anything that you've done in close-up on stage. That's really, I can't stress how important that is, man. I was at Smoke and Mirrors the other day, and I was doing fiber optics. If I was doing close-up magic before doing fiber optics on stage, I would not be doing any rope magic of any type at all. So, yeah, you did the right thing, and that's the way that I would go if I were you. Okay, we've got one final question, who's from Wolfgang Humboid 4830, who says, the coin bag is my #1 petty release this year. It's by far the best thing a new coin magician can buy. The ease level of expensive gaffs and amazing versatility at a very low cost is unmatched. #2 is the Svengali project. Turned out our Svengali decks into real workers. Not sure how to rank the rest, but these two are just killer. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you, man. I work hard on this stuff. And anytime I see somebody say that they use my material, it fills me with joy. So thank you. So there you go, guys. That's another Q&A in the bag. I'm going to go upstairs with my kids now and play something. Don't know what. I'll figure it out when I get up there. But I want to say thank you so much for sticking with the channel this year. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Thank you so much for supporting me. Like I said earlier on, it's difficult. Sometimes it really is difficult doing this channel. And, I know it's a vocal minority, and it is a minority, but the amount of negativity I get, I must question almost every week why I do what I do. And the reason I do it is because of people that say that I'm making a difference. And so I really appreciate all of you. And I really do, more than I think you guys could ever realize. So thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed the Q&A. I hope you have a great new year, whatever it is that you're doing. I believe there's a video with me and Matt up tomorrow, possibly. I don't know. We set the schedule last week, so I'm not too sure. But whatever it is that's up, I hope you have a great time. If you haven't already joined the Netrix, feel free to do so. It's thenetrix.com. It's my online streaming platform. But regardless, I'll see you again soon. Thank you so much for watching. My name's Craig, and this is Magic TV.